The third thing they do is that people who are aglow with the Lord or with the Holy Spirit are a functioning part of the body. Now, we talked about this a little bit on Wednesday night, and we've been talking about it a lot in our cell group. But you know, we here in this church are one body. Now, there are many of us here. We're all different, but we're all parts of that body that God has placed here in this area. We belong to each other, and we need each other. When one part is missing, there's something missing from the whole body. Okay, it doesn't function quite as well. We need everything. So we need the world to see our church body as a body aglow with the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit working in everyone and through everyone. Now, as we look there at the verses that list the gifts that God has given us, or the God-given gifts, we see things like prophesying, serving, encouraging, contributing, leadership, mercy. All of those are good things, and who wouldn't want to function in those things? Wouldn't it be great to be able to do that? You know, I would love to have all kinds of money to give away. I'm good at giving money away. Not so good at saving it, but I'm good at giving it away. And we certainly can see how we could be aglow with the Holy Spirit and how the Holy Spirit could use us. If we had those gifts functioning in our lives, then of course people would be attracted. But if that's all we have, then we're missing it. You see, we need to be aglow in the everyday lives also, in our day-to-day work, in the things that we do on a daily basis. Now, if we look at those verses 9 through 18 there's a whole list of things that Paul gives us, ways that we can be aglow. These are what I call spirit-led characteristics. Okay, they're not God-given gifts, okay, but they are spirit-led characteristics. The problem that we face oftentimes is that we look at these things, the spirit-led characteristics, and we say, I don't know how to do those. How am I ever going to get that whole list done? We look at the gifts and say, well, if God gives it to me, obviously I can function in it. We need to see the Holy Spirit and God at work in our lives in these characteristics as much as He is in the gifts that He gives. The first thing that he tells us there is that we need to show genuine love for others. You know, love is a thing that we throw around like mad. Everybody we meet, oh, I love you. Oh, I just love that dress you're wearing. I think you look so good today. We are so fake sometimes. And God says we need to be genuine in our love. We need to mean what we say and say what we mean, okay? Now, sometimes you need to not say anything, but say what you mean and mean what you say. We also need to stand on the side of good. It's not enough just to hate what's wrong. We need to take a stand for what is right. We need to stand up and say, I believe that is wrong. I believe this is right. We also need to honor others. In other words, we need to treat everyone else as if they're better than us. You know, it's not just enough to treat them as I want to be treated. I need to treat them as if they're better than I am. So when you walk into Walmart and you see that greeter, and they're always standing there and they're saying, good morning, how are you? You know, what do we do? Yeah. And on we go. Yesterday, I blew a lady's mind because we walked into Walmart and she said to me, hello, how are you? And I said, I'm fine, and how are you? And she went, you know, obviously not very many people talk to them or even care how they really are. Which leads me to another one of my pet peeves, folks. If you ask me how I am, you better care how I am, because I'm going to tell you. Okay? Don't just say words. We need to be genuine. We need to be real. We need to really honor others. We need to really care how other people are. The next thing is that we need to not be lazy, but serve the Lord enthusiastically. Now, God isn't asking you to push yourself beyond your limits, okay? God is not asking you to work yourself up into a heart attack. Whatever it is you can do, whatever your hand finds to do, do it as unto the Lord. Whatever you are capable of doing, do it enthusiastically. Do it with the Holy Spirit there working through you, accomplishing that work. Every job in the church is important, and we need to get that through our heads. It doesn't matter if you're standing up here preaching a sermon. It doesn't matter if you're picking a piece of paper up off the floor. In God's eyes, every job is important. And whatever our job is, whatever it is that we can do for God, we need to do that with the Holy Spirit working through us. And we need to do it with an attitude of enthusiasm and with the Spirit there. People are also patient in trouble when they're aglow with the Spirit. You know, whenever you find yourself in trouble, the easiest way to get out of trouble is to follow God out. It's not often what we do. We usually try to figure out what we need to do, and we find ourselves a little bit deeper into the problem before we finally turn to God and say, okay, I need your help. But the easiest way out of trouble is to follow God out of trouble. So we need to be people who learn to pray, who need to seek the Holy Spirit, and who learn to follow the Holy Spirit when we're in those times of trouble. Now, I am not one of these people who believe that you go around all the time with a happy, smiley face. Okay, there are times when trouble comes and you're hurting and there's just no smile there. And the last thing that I need or anybody in trouble or in pain needs to hear is, just be joyful. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Yeah. Okay? Get out of here is right. Okay? So that doesn't mean I have to be mean and nasty and horrible either. Okay, if I'm depending on the Holy Spirit, there are times I'm very dependent on the Holy Spirit and I'm still in tears and I still may not be smiling, but I know that I know that I know that God is in control and that God's going to work things out. Another characteristic they have is that they are always in prayer. When those problems come and that trouble comes, the first thing they do is pray. That's the first thought. When things are going great, the first thing they do is pray. They pray not because they need something, but they pray because they are in a relationship with God and they want to spend time with the one that they love. We need to learn to be that kind of person. They also have empathy for others. And here we go back to what we were talking about when people are in trouble. They laugh with others when they laugh, but they cry with others when they cry. We need to not just sympathize and feel bad for others, but we need to empathize. We need to feel what they're feeling. We need to really understand the pain behind what we see in the physical. And sometimes it's a lot deeper than what you think. When we feel the pain of others, then we can genuinely offer hope. Now, I know that's a long list. I know that it's a daunting list. And again, as we look at that list, it's tempting to say there's no way I can do all of those things. But again, we need to understand that the Holy Spirit does not walk out of this chapter at verse 8 after he gets through with the gifts. The Holy Spirit is there. All of these characteristics that they are giving us, which make us glow with the Spirit, are Spirit-led characteristics. And as the Holy Spirit lives through us and in us and accomplishes God's will around us, then we can accomplish all these things and do all these things. It's a way of life that everyone notices, even the unsaved. When you walk around and you are aglow with the Holy Spirit, everyone you meet will notice that there's something different about you. Whether you're in the grocery store, whether you're at work, whether you're driving down the road in your car, people will notice that there's something different. Because we have encountered the Holy Spirit, those we meet should encounter the Holy Spirit. You know, it should be difficult to hide the fact that you are Pentecostal and that you are Spirit-filled. It should be very difficult to hide that, because as the Spirit lives in you and works in you and through you, the world should notice. The Spirit in us makes us a light in the darkness wherever we are, whatever we are doing. And when others encounter you, they should also encounter the fire of the Holy Spirit in you. we need to burn brightly for Jesus.